This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
The time is precisely 8:45 p.m. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. News edited by Romesh Piris and read by Chandima Veerakorn. Headlines. The chairman of the Presidential Task Force on Economic Revival and Poverty Alleviation instructs officials to give priority to projects that will benefit the majority. New isolation curfew directives issued. COVID-19 recoveries surge past 28,000. Overseas Sri Lankans no longer required clearance from the Foreign Affairs Ministry when returning to the country. Landslide early warnings issued for 3 districts. Decision on reopening schools tomorrow. On international news, WHO team expected to visit China in January 2021 to probe COVID-19 origins. In sports news, it's cricket. Seifert's blistering knock and Hafiz's unbeaten 99 as New Zealand take the series. Local stories in detail. The chairman of the Presidential Task Force on Economic Revival and Poverty Alleviation, Basil Rajapaksa, instructed the people's representatives on government officials to give priority to projects that will benefit the majority in the implementation of the 2021 budget proposals. Mr. Rajapaksa said that the implementation of these proposals should be considered at the village level and all regional coordinating committees. Mr. Rajapaksa expressed these views whilst participating in the national program In Conversation with the Village, conducted in several districts recently. In line with the celebration of the 4th anniversary of the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna, the national program for the Colombo district will be conducted under the theme Siv Desa Suraki, Siv Wasarak at Temple Trees tomorrow morning. The National Operations Centre for Prevention of COVID-19 Outbreak says isolation curfew imposed in several areas will be lifted tomorrow, while isolation will continue to remain in certain areas. The head of the centre, Commander of the Army, Lieutenant General Shavendra Silva, issuing a statement said, isolation status in the Salamulla Grama Seva division in the Vallampitiya police area and Kokila Road in the Vallavatta police area will be lifted as of 5 a.m. tomorrow. Meanwhile, isolation orders enforced in Naiduwa of the Kerawalapitiya Grama Seva division of the Vattala police area, the Gangabada Grama Seva division in the Paliyagoda police area, and Vilegoda North of the Kiribadgoda police area will also be lifted at 5 a.m. tomorrow. Furthermore, Purana Kotuwatta and Nelligavatta of the Paliyagoda Gangabada Grama Seva division of the Paliyagoda police area and Sri Jayanti Mawata in Valigoda North of the Paliyagoda police area will be isolated as of 5 a.m. tomorrow morning. In addition, isolation orders will continue to remain in effect in the Mutwal, Kotahena, Grand Pass, Wolfandal, Dam Street, Keselvatta, Maligavatta, Dematagoda and Maradana police areas. Isolation status will also continue to remain in Vakanda in Slave Island, Wanathamulla in Borella, Laksanda 7 Housing Complex in Vallampitiya and south of Ferguson Road in Mattakkuliya, Hunupitiya in Slave Island, Hatevatta in Cinnamon Gardens, Mayura Place in Vallavatta and Demalavatta in Mirihana. 262 new COVID-19 cases have been detected in the country today. Accordingly, the number of total infections in Sri Lanka increases to 36,929. Earlier today, 715 persons who contracted the coronavirus recovered and were discharged, raising the number of recoveries to 28,267. Accordingly, 8,491 persons, including 6 foreign nationals, are currently receiving treatment for coronavirus at 61 facilities across the country. 438 suspected COVID-19 cases are also under medical observation at present. Sri Lanka also witnessed 171 fatalities from the virus thus far. The National Building Research Organisation has issued a Level 1 landslide early warning for some parts of the Kandy, Matale and Nuwara Eliya districts. The warning states that since the rainfall within the past 24 hours has exceeded 75 millimeters, if the rains continue, people living in the following areas are to be alert on the possibility of landslides, slope failures, rock falls, cut failures and ground subsidence. Locations for potential risks are Kandy District, Doluwa and Ududumbara Divisional Secretariat Divisions and surrounding areas. In the Matale District, Alahara Divisional Secretariat Division and surrounding areas. And in the Nuwara Eliya District, Walapane Divisional Secretariat Division and surrounding areas. This news comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
HDFC Smart Goals. All it takes is 3 years.
Continuing with the local stories, a decision on reopening all schools in the country is expected to be announced tomorrow. The Minister of Education, G.L. Piris, has said the government is of the stance that all schools must be reopened promptly while adhering to health guidelines. Speaking to media today after calling on the Mahanayaka of the Kotte Sri Kalyani Samagri Dharma Mahasangha Sabha of Siam Nikaya, Ittapane Dhammalankara Thera, Minister Piris noted that the government wants to ensure the education rights of the children. He said since the country is returning to normalcy in all sectors, schools should also resume academic activities. The Education Minister noted that even if all schools cannot be reopened at once, discussions are underway to resume academic activities systematically. Venerable Athra Ratanathera, who will enter Parliament through the national list of the Our Power of People's Party, says he will be committed to take forward the President's programme. Speaking during a media briefing in Colombo today, the Thera noted the party secured a seat in Parliament which led to a crisis. Ratanathera added, however, that he received the national list post following the approval of the party. A bright object will appear in the night sky tomorrow. Astronomers have dubbed it the Christmas star due to it appearing over the festive season. However, the astronomical object is not a star, but rather a conjunction of Saturn and Jupiter, the two largest planets in the solar system. Both planets can easily be seen as there will be celestial bodies which look like stars next to the moon. From Earth's perspective, the planets will also be close together that they will appear as one bright object. The planets will be so close together in the night sky that it will be the closest they have been since 1226 AD. The next time they will be that near to each other will come in 2080. To end the local news, the headlines again. The chairman of the Presidential Task Force on Economic Revival and Poverty Alleviation instructs officials to give priority to projects that will benefit the majority. New isolation curfew directives issued. COVID-19 recovery surged past 28,000. Overseas Sri Lankans no longer required clearance from the Foreign Affairs Ministry when returning to the country. Landslide early warnings issued for 3 districts. Decision on reopening schools tomorrow. That ends the local news.
Darling, our daughter has top O-level results. Do you know what this means?
Yes, just 3 years and she'll be going abroad for her degree.
For which we'll need a bank loan.
But is a normal loan the smartest option?
What else?
The smartest way is to start an HDFC Smart Goals account.
Let your child begin their degree with no delays. Start an HDFC Smart Goals account. Call 2356 888.
Honey, you're so smart.
HDFC Smart Goals. All it takes is 3 years.
A mother knows the pain of each member of the family. Siddhalepa, the trusted relief for aches and pains.
An effective therapy for relief from cold, sneezing, flu, headaches, swelling due to toothaches, rheumatic, discomforts, and muscular aches and pains. Siddhalepa, the Vidamahatmya in every home.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
On the main news story, the Civil Aviation Authority of Sri Lanka chairman Upul Dharmadas stated that Sri Lankans who are stranded overseas would have the opportunity to return to the country from December 26th onwards without obtaining clearance from the Sri Lankan Foreign Affairs Ministry. He added so far Sri Lankans have been advised to register with the External Affairs Ministry for clearance before landing. However, the Sri Lankans who are returning using this opportunity should be subject to PCR tests.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
Brush your teeth twice a day for healthy teeth and gums. Supiriviki and Kakulu, your trusted brands in oral care for many years.
Supiriviki Ayurvedic toothpaste for adults. Kakulu Ayurvedic toothpaste for kids. 9 Ayurvedic ingredients of Supiriviki will protect your teeth and strengthen your gums. Supiriviki and Kakulu, products from Siddhalepa.
Moving on to Watchlight, the Department of Agriculture has taken steps to assess the damages caused to maize crops owing to the spread of the fall armyworm. The Director General W.N.K. Veerakon said local agriculture officers and field officers have been instructed in this regard. According to information revealed thus far, the fall armyworm has affected 10,000 hectares of maize cultivation. The Ministry of Agriculture has instructed officials to compensate farmers after assessing the damages to crops. Moving on to world news, the headlines. WHO team expected to visit China in January 2021 to probe COVID-19 origins. US Congress poised to vote on $900 billion coronavirus package. Kabul bomb attack kills women, children, lawmaker wounded. Much-awaited international mission led by the WHO or the World Health Organization is expected to go to China in the first week of January to investigate the origins of the novel coronavirus SARS-CoV-2 that triggered the COVID-19 pandemic. A year into the COVID-19 pandemic, now a team of 12 to 15 international experts is expected to go to China to examine evidence including human and animal samples collected by Chinese researchers and to build on their initial studies. The US Congress appeared poised to vote today on a $900 billion coronavirus aid package after senators struck a late-night compromise to clear one of the final hurdles, a dispute over Federal Reserve pandemic lending authorities. Congressional leaders plan to attach the coronavirus aid package, which includes $600 direct payments to individuals and $300 per week unemployment compensation supplement, to a $1.4 trillion spending bill funding government programs through September 2021. A car bomb in Afghan capital Kabul has killed at least 8 people and wounded more than 15, including a member of parliament. The Interior Ministry spokesman Tariq Aryan said the death toll from today's attack could rise, adding that the dead included women, children, and the elderly. The attack happened while the convoy of lawmaker Khan Mohammad Wadak was passing through an intersection in Kabul's Koshal Khan neighborhood. The blast set a fire surrounding civilian vehicles as well as damaging nearby buildings and shops. To end the world news, the headlines again. WHO team expected to visit China in January 2021 to probe COVID-19 origins. US Congress poised to vote on $900 billion coronavirus package. Kabul bomb attack kills women, children, lawmaker wounded. That ends the world news. On to development news. 75% of Sri Lankans are ready to continue the lifestyles taken up under the harsh conditions of COVID-19, enforced lockdowns during which many moved to home and rooftop gardening. Hence, the Ministry of Agriculture has introduced an initiative to boost this trend, Saubhagya Gevatta, to address the future demand for fruit and vegetables. The program aims to develop 1 million home gardens. Saubhagya program has distributed 1.9 million seed packets during last Yala 2020 season and expanded to 2 million in the ongoing Maha season 2021. Moving on to sports news, it's cricket. New Zealand versus Pakistan, second T20 from Hamilton. This game was all about two masterful innings. Mohammad Hafiz batted like he was in a dream to still keep his head and score an unbeaten 99 runs out of a total of 163 was a monumental effort. The only reason that innings did not turn out to be a match winner is because Tim Seifert produced an equally compelling masterpiece. His unbeaten 84 to follow a 50 in the first game is a big reason New Zealand have won this T20 series 2-0. Pakistan were 163 for the loss of 6 wickets in their allotted 20 overs. New Zealand, in reply, passed the target, losing a single wicket in 19.2 overs with 4 balls remaining. That ends sports news. Up next is business news. A pioneering trailblazer in the financial services industry, Citizens Development Business Finance PLC, which now stands among the top 5 largest NBFIs in the country, added to its significant collective of accolades by being recognized with the Business Today Top 30. A fitting tribute to celebrate its 25th year, CDB has over the years prompted transformations in the corporate psyche of the financial services industry with its emphasis on unbeatable formula of revolutionary innovation. That ends business news. Up next is economic news.
Economic news, courtesy of
Business Deals, now easy. It just takes a few taps only. Anytime, get it done, all connected. Best discounts with real time. LOLC Real Time. Now download LOLC Finance Real Time app for your LOLC savings account. Attractive interest rates, transactions anytime, anywhere with a zero cost and no benefits.
And on economic news, Sri Lanka Design Festival, an annual event, showcases fashion, design, technology, knowledge sharing, art and creativity, will go virtual in 2021 international partnerships to take it global. Colombo-based Academy of Design initiated the event in 2009 to promote the concept of designed and made in Sri Lanka. The Sri Lanka Design Festival 2021 will be held virtually from January 15th to 17th January 2021. The festival will showcase to a global audience through various collaborations and international partnerships.
Hello, Puta. Did you land already?
We're in transit and our flight got delayed.
How is Shani? Poor thing with her pregnancy.
Calm down. Everything is sorted. Why, I have my LOLC World Card with me. We are at the VIP lounge.
LOLC Finance Credit Cards. Fuel the goodness in you.
And finally, on the weather report, the meteorological department says that northeast monsoon conditions are prevailing over the island. Heavy rainfalls above 75 millimeters could be expected at some places in the eastern province and Matale and Polonnaruwa districts. The Met Department forecasts following the monsoon, showers or thundershowers could be expected at regular intervals in the northern, eastern, north central and Uva provinces and in Matale and Hambantota districts. Meanwhile, showers or thundershowers would occur at several places in the Sabragamu province and Kalutara, Gaul, Mathura districts in the evening. That ends the weather report. And to conclude this bulletin of news, the headlines again. The chairman of the Presidential Task Force on Economic Revival and Poverty Alleviation instructs officials to give priority to projects that will benefit the majority. New isolation curfew directives issued. COVID-19 recoveries surged past 28,000. Overseas Sri Lankans no longer required clearance from the Foreign Affairs Ministry when returning to the country. Landslide early warnings issued for 3 districts. Decisions on reopening schools tomorrow. On international news, WHO team expected to visit China in January 2021 to probe COVID-19 origins. In sports, it's cricket, Seifert's blistering knock and Hafiz's unbeaten 99 as New Zealand take the series. With that, we conclude this bulletin of news from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.